In this bottle is my appendix, and today I'm going to tell you the story of how I had to have it removed in an emergency operation in a third world communist hospital during Corona. Okay, so I'm travelling in Southeast Asia. Corona starts affecting the whole world, and I get stuck in Laos, which is a landlocked country in Southeast Asia, bordering Thailand, Myanmar, China, Vietnam and Cambodia. It's got a population of about 8 million, it's a third world country. Most people are poor rural rice farmers. Because we got stuck in Laos and we're travellers, we don't have a limitless budget, so we decided to volunteer on a mountain about 1,200 metres above sea level. It was a coffee farm, and it was in the middle of nowhere. The only way to get there was a rough mountain road, no tarmac or anything. It literally looked like it'd been bombed. I'm working on the farm for about 3 months, and this whole time I'm working on the farm, I've had a really bad stomach, really bad belly. So one day I woke up and I was in extreme pain. I felt like I'd been stabbed or something like this. It really felt like I'd been stabbed. And I couldn't walk, I was crying, I was wailing at Molly, I was shouting at her. I was in so much pain. I was in more pain than I've ever been in my life. And it made me angry. I couldn't do anything to get rid of this pain. And so I just ended up spending 24 hours just on my bed, just screaming in absolute agony. I was just in this bamboo hut on this mountain, completely isolated. I really didn't want to go to the hospital. The hospital was about 2 hours away, and everyone had told me that it was a very bad standard. Cut to the next day, I almost can't see. When I go to stand up, I pass out. I fall into the floor, and I can't even move to get myself off of the position that I fall in the floor. All of a sudden, I just think, this is too much pain, this is something dangerous now, this is serious. I can't even, I'm blacking out, I'm puking from the pain constantly, and I just say to Molly, phone an ambulance, just phone an ambulance. And it's not a national number here. It would just be a random Lao person that owns an ambulance van, and it took him 2 hours to get to us because it was such a bad road. At this point I'm screaming in agony, and I'm there with my fiance Molly and two of my friends, one British guy and one Lao lady. We all bundle into the farmer's old wartime Jeep, and this Jeep has absolutely no suspension. It's about 40 years old. It is so bumpy, and I'm there with a really bad stomach. I'm laying in the back of the van. Everyone else is really concerned. Molly's almost crying. My two friends, they don't know what to do. I'm just screaming, oh, I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. The Lao driver drives me as fast as he can to try and meet the ambulance halfway. I get in the ambulance, and this ambulance is just completely bare. There's nothing in it, absolutely nothing. The only thing they had was an oxygen tank. They didn't have anything, no gloves, nothing. And so they're trying to calm me down in Lao. I can't speak any Lao. I'm shouting at them, oh, Jep Lai, Jep Hang, Jep Hang, Jep Hang, which just means heavy pain, really bad pain. And it's the only thing that I could really think of at the time. They get me to the hospital, and it's late at night, and it's on a Saturday. Now in Laos, they don't have any doctors on a Saturday or a Sunday. Most of the nurses that are highly trained, they go home. So you're left with all of the trainee staff. So we get to the hospital in the emergency room. They tell me just to wait for a moment. They come in and they want to take a urine sample. So I'm like, oh, okay, let's just get it done with. I'm in so much pain, I just need to know what's going on. And I'm laying in the bed, and by this point, because there are hardly any travellers in Laos at the moment, they call us Phalang. Because there was a Phalang in the hospital, in the local hospital, there was now a crowd of people all around my bed, all in the room, all just staring at me and laughing, you know. It's really weird. In the UK, it's considered really taboo. But in Laos, everyone's just looking at you just like, oh, Phalang, Phalang, Phalang. And they're like, oh, hey, uncle, auntie, come. come here, there's flying, come see this. And at this point, the nurses asked me to urinate in the bottle in front of everyone, and then no screen or anything. So I'm just there like, I'm in so much pain, I'm angry already, I'm confused, I'm quite scared. I'm in an unknown environment. People are talking different language to me that I have no idea what's going on. As I go to take my Johnson out, the Lao people just go like this. They start looking even more, and I just get so angry. I start shouting at them. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you looking at? In Asia, you don't lose face. You don't raise your voice. If you're angry, you don't show it. If you're annoyed, you don't show it. If you show it, you've lost face. It's a disgrace. And so now they're laughing at me, and I'm there, and I'm angry, and I'm in pain. I've got my bits out. I'm urinating in a bottle in front of 30 people, 30 strangers. They're all shouting different things in their local language and laughing. Anyway, because there's no doctors, there's nothing they can really do at that point. So they take me to a ward for the night. They take me to a bed, and I'm actually lucky to have a bed because many people are just laid outside in the corridors, or even outside the hospital, no mats, nothing. And these are people that have just had operations, people that have just had leg amputations. They've just got bloody bandages, and they're just laid on the floor holding their leg up. Cockroaches and rats running around. So they take me to a place like this, but with a bed. It has a roof, but it's outside. There's no walls or anything like this. There's mosquitoes, cockroaches, stray animals walking around. And I'm just there in so much pain. I've not had any pain medication yet. It feels like my stomach's gonna blow up. It feels like I've been stabbed. In the middle of the night, I wake up. I tried to go and find the nurse that's staying there for the night. I get up, I walk about 8 paces, and the pain from just walking shot through me. I just dropped on the floor. I couldn't control it. I was screaming. It was about 2 in the morning. Molly went to go get the nurse. The nurse came over, she saw me on the floor, she went, ugh, and she went, "Pain on," which just means go to bed. And I was in complete despair. It was at that point that I realised I was in a place where I was not going to get the kind of help I needed, or any help for that matter. The next morning, I realised there's no doctors here. No one's going to help me here. I'm in danger. I know I'm in danger now. My body's telling me that I'm in so much pain. So there's a clinic right next to the hospital. They have an English-speaking doctor, and they have things like an ultrasound, and they can give me a blood test. We rush over there. They instantly give me an ultrasound, which, by the way, cost about $38. My British friend, he's looking at the screen. He says, "What is that?" And he looks at it and he says, "There's definitely something wrong there. That doesn't look normal." And the doctor doesn't say anything. He just zooms in on the screen. He's really looking at it properly, and then he just turns around and he says, "You have appendicitis and you need an operation right now. This could blow up, and if it blows up, you're gonna die. You need this now. You can't wait 2 hours. You need it now. We need to take you over to the hospital where they have a surgeon, and they need to get it out of you right now." I'm thinking, wow. Well, finally I found out something is wrong with me. I kind of feel a little bit relieved, because I've been feeling real serious pain for a few months now, and I've just carried on working. Now I've gone from feeling relieved that I've found out what it was, to absolute sheer dread. My face went white. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about how I felt in that moment. Now knowing that I had to have an emergency operation in the hospital that I'd just spent the night in. I have to be really careful about how I tell this story, how I describe the hospital, because I am in a communist country. I couldn't take any photos or videos in there. It was like a Victorian hospital where they didn't know about germ theory, but it had electricity. So I get to the hospital and I show them the scan results. I've just been told that I'm about to die if I don't have this operation. I need to have it right now. It's an emergency. So they're like, oh well, we need to give you an ultrasound because we can't just go off some other doctor's word. So I thought, okay, fine, that's fair enough, let's get it done. And so I was in there, they were giving me this ultrasound for about 30 minutes, and I was getting really annoyed because it took the other doctor about 3 minutes before he told me that, you know, I was about to die and I needed an operation. This doctor couldn't find any problem. After 30 minutes, he said, there's absolutely no problem with you, it's not your appendix, and we're not going to operate on you. And I just think, I've just been told that I'm gonna die within hours and that one of my organs is gonna blow up if I don't have an operation. And they're just saying, no, it's fine. And then now me and the 3 people that I'm with, and now all getting annoyed. We're getting quite scared, and we're getting agitated, and we're like, no, you need to operate on. They're saying you need to operate on him. He's going to die. And so they go off. They take the scan results off and speak to another doctor, and they take another half an hour for this, and they eventually come back and they say, right, we're going to operate on you. And again, I go through a really weird wave of emotion where I'm petrified because I know I've got a ticking time bomb in my stomach, and I could die here. They've just said, right, we're going to remove it. Massive relief, great. You're actually going to save my life. And now I'm super scared because now I've got to have an emergency operation in this hospital. I'm almost crying again. I'm very scared. I'm so scared. I'm so tired at this point. So Molly tries calming me down on the way to theatre. And by the way, this was like 2 minutes after they had just said, right, we're going to operate on you. I was then, within 2 minutes, I was pretty much off to the operating room. And on just before, Molly was calming me. She was telling me, and you won't feel anything, and don't worry, you'll be fine, you'll just be sleeping. So I calmed down and think, okay, it's fine, no problem, I can do this. I get to the surgery room, and there's a stray cat on my bed for a start. The surgery room is mouldy, there's dark water dripping from the roof. So I get on the bed and I say, you know, how long will it take me to fall asleep? The doctor says, we're not putting you asleep. If we put you asleep, it'll be really dangerous. And I say, what? What do you mean you're not going to put me to sleep? I'm having an operation. And he said, no, you're having an epidural. We're gonna paralyze you from halfway down your back. And so I thought, wow, okay, well, this is going to be the scariest experience of my life. I'm naked on the bed, and they say, get on your side and get in the fetal position. And then they put this needle in between the discs in your back. They put it through, you can feel it go in, and then they're pushing this fluid in. Your feet start going all tingly. And he says that this is going to be, it might make you cold. And I was like, oh, okay. They laid me down on the bed, and it was like a gurney. There was 2 armrests, so I was laid out like this, straight, laid out like this on the bed. And they put this sheet up so I couldn't see what was about to happen. However, when they turned on the big surgery lights, the really bright lights, and angled it away from me towards where they were going to operate, the glass covering over the lights acted just like a mirror, so I could see exactly what was about to happen. So I was there watching my operation, and I was there like this. I was so cold. After about 2 minutes, I didn't feel any pain, but I felt every other sensation other than pain. If you push as hard as you can into your stomach just before it starts to hurt, and then you start moving it downwards, that's exactly the sensation that I felt. It wasn't pain, but it was very uncomfortable. So I'm there, and they've cut me open, and now they've stretched it They've stretched me open. I'm watching this. I'm laying down and I'm watching this, just like, wow, is this actually happening? Is this actually happening? And I can see them. They're taking bits out and they're cutting it and tugging on me, and it's terrible. And I'm trying to look away and not think about it, but all I can feel is all my insides moving, and this real tug every now and then, just tugging and tugging and tugging. We're there for about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes. By this point, I'm white. I'm in shock, and I'm shaking like this. I'm literally shaking. I'm shaking violently because I'm so cold. And I'm in shock. And I'm saying to the doctor, how long? Please just finish. You know, because I can see him stitching it up. I'm watching him stitch it up, and I'm like, and he seems to just be taking so long to stitch it up. Why? No, I'm not a doctor. As he's stitching me up, he says, he looks at me dead in the eyes, and he says, 24 more hours, dead. Like, wow, okay, wow. But I'm there just like, I need this to be finished. I ask him to stop. I'm like, can you just stop? And he's like, I just have 2 more stitches to go. Okay, he's already done one. So I'm like, oh, okay. So he does it, finishes the operation, gets me into the after op room, gives me some more tramadol. I fall asleep. I wake up. I look to my right, and I just see this bottle here. With an organ in it, and I think, why is that there? It was just on the side next to me at eye level as I turned around. I was confused, and I thought, why? No way, that is my appendix. And they just gave me my appendix. In the UK, they would send this off to the lab to test for things like cancers and stuff like that. But in Laos, they just give you your appendix back. So I haven't lost my appendix. I've still got it. So I had to spend 2 nights in the hospital. Now in Laos, the hospital doesn't provide any food for you. There's no food provided at all. They don't provide any bedding, like pillows, blankets. They provide absolutely nothing. So if you turn up in an emergency and you need a bed and you don't have any family with you, any food, any bedding, then you're stuck there with nothing. You're just stuck there on a bed, and you're not going to eat. You will not eat. The nurses will not go get you food. I was in a room with 6 beds, so I was in a really posh room. But each person had about 10 family members staying with them. So all around, even my bed, they'd sit on my bed. Everyone, it was so crowded that random people would just be sat on my bed. They'd be all sleeping and sat around the floor. There'd be about 30 people in this really small room. The nurses, they weren't very helpful, to be honest with you. Maybe partly because I couldn't speak their language. It also just looked like they were just far too busy. But Molly would go and ask them for some pain medications, and they'd laugh. And they'd say falang something, and she wouldn't know what they'd say, and they weren't that helpful. So whilst I was sleeping in this bed, Molly was sat next to me, and she would see cockroaches all walking up the wall around me, and cockroaches all trying to eat the food that I'd been given. When my drip emptied, Molly had to change it. All of the medication and everything, your family member has to go to another part of the hospital, basically to the pharmacy, ask for the needles, the bandages, the drugs that the doctor tells you that you need, and then you just pay for it and give it to them. So anyway, that is my appendix in here. It leaked a little bit. It's not watertight. This actually leaked in my bag on the bus, which is kind of gross. Yeah. And this is my scar. But the thing is, it's weird because anytime I tense, it does this. Yeah, strange. I still have quite a few complications from the operation, even though it was 3 months ago. That's what you get when you get an emergency operation to save your life for $100. Yes, that was my story today. Just one of my stories whilst travelling during Corona times. Hopefully you enjoyed my story more than I enjoyed the experience. If you do like any of my videos or any of my content, I'd really appreciate it if you did share it, like it, follow me, because then more travellers can see it. And there's a lot of people that can't travel at the moment, so you can come and live vicariously through me. I am still travelling. I'm showing you the real side of travel.